everyone, and welcome back to my channel. And you have to forgive me, I am going through a cold at the moment, so I'm sounding a bit bunged up. However, we're coming towards the end of the month now, and so I thought maybe we might try and find ourselves a bargain 500. Was bidding yesterday. We won't go into details about exactly what I was bidding on because it's a bit all irrelevant, but didn't really come away with anything. So today I'm trying to keep these cars local now for the minute, because you're spending like £300 for delivery to get a car down from York to the southeast, and yeah, you know, you're still making profit, but delivery's half of that if you can find something sort of from Bristol, Westbury, and even half that again if you're going sort of Newbury way. But anyway, I'm not going to bore you with that. So today we have a very high mileage 2013 Lounge, 124,000 miles on the clock. It does run and drive. Its estimated retail is £3,000, and there's no V5, and then that's pretty much what they're talking about. Now, this is going to require a new bumper, as you can see here. So it's had a frontal. Let me just see if we need anything else. The lugs. Not sure if that lug is broken. But if anything, it might just be a lug. I think the headlights are alright. But you can see we've just got this crack and all that crack in there. At the rear, there's possibly some kind of damage as well, actually. Oh, yeah. Oh, so it's been... Oh, hold on. Oh, I didn't see this, if I'm being honest. That needs... I can't... That's had a front and a rear, so potentially it's been involved in some sort of... I don't know what you want to call it. It's hit the car in front and then been hit up the rear. And you can look at it from this side as well. I maybe thought you might need a rear bumper, but actually looking at that, that's a tailgate. I was quite interested in that price, because at the moment it's at £325, and for 2013 on that kind of high mileage, it's averaging about 17,000 miles a year. Now for me, as long as the car's driving and going, that's not too bad. It's when cars just sit around, that's when, you know, things start to, you know, like rubbers and stuff start to go. So but anyway, just quickly checking on the MOT for this one. This one here. So it had a rear tyre slightly out of shape, and then the front brake disc was worn or pitted. Now I'm not so sure, because that requires potentially getting a whole new tailgate. And that's just a bit of extra work, really. I was hoping for potentially a relatively quick swap out for the bumper. Ugh, okay. I'm having to have a think about that one now. Whether I want to invest in sort of heavy work or not. But otherwise, that's the mileage. There's no errors on the dash. And we have got keys. But everything else. In the by the way, the interior. Does it cover the interior? There it is. So, yeah, you know, it's not too bad. But anyway, the other one at Westbury as well is this grey one. Now, I've been trying to work out if it's customer. I think it's customer, but then I'm not sure if that I think it's customer. I'm not sure if that's an X under the 2. But basically there's no damage to this car at all. But it is a Cat S. So it has been repaired at some point. And if we look around it, for some reason it's missing the chrome strip at the back. Got some nice little mud flaps there, because we all need those in our lives. But otherwise, it doesn't really, again, need any work that I can see. Interior wise, oh, that's not a remote key. How many keys does it say? That's not a remote key. It says second set of keys available, then it says number of keys 1. So the picture indicates that's not a remote key, but then it says second set available, so that's interesting. But anyway, 61,000 miles. So yeah, the rear damage, that's primary, and that's worth 3.3 on an 11 plate. Now, quick check on the MOT for this one is a year ago, near side front road wheel slightly distorted. So one of these, let's just shut these down. One of these, one of the alloys is ever so slightly out of line, it would appear. Possible scratches to this side. Maybe. Not sure how much that will come out. I don't even know if that's really a dent. Very difficult to tell. I don't know. Let's have a look at this one. I'm not sure if that's dented or not, or whether that's just an angle. You know, like, I think that possibly is dented actually. So maybe that's probably not going to pull out really, because it's right on the corner there. That's currently at 1100, but it is a Cat S. So those are the two cars that I'm looking at. And the auction's due to start very shortly. I'm probably now more tempted with a white one if this price stays relatively low, if I'm being honest. But yeah, so that's where we're at. We'll see how we get on, and I'll come back to you when these auctions start. Thought I'd start the recording a bit earlier, so for those that are slightly bored of Fiats, you can have a quick look at what's going on other auctions. You got the lovely Qashqai, highest bidder from Belgium. No, and then I think we've got a Golf coming up, and then there's the Lounge, which I'm not going to bid on. I'm decided that I'm going to miss that one out, but we'll just monitor to see what the price is anyway. Currently 600 people, or just over 600 people at Westbury at the moment. So yeah, the cars we got is quite interesting. For those that are interested, we've got a very old school. Let's open this, and got an old school. Oh no, that's very basic. 328 SE, 450 though, so it has got some interest in it.
Your watch item is next on the block.
But looks like this Golf's not going to get a huge amount, so actually we'll it's going to go to bonus. Or is it going to go sold? I think it's going to go sold. Right, one more bonus. Then we'll just see how this Lounge gets on. Second bonus. See, what was weird yesterday is I was bidding on a Fiat 500 and I put in a bid and then got outbidded, and then it went round and I thought, oh, here we go, here comes the bonus, and it just went sold. I was like, oh, so we're not going to have a bonus time, and I lost out. So let's have a look. 1350 for an 11 plate Cat S with very little work to do. If you're good with a bit of body shop and painting, it's not too bad. You got your V5, so you could turn that around quite quick. So it's not a great amount of people wanting to bid on it. So I'd imagine this is going to go for about 1400. I'm not so sure about that. Really, just a bit hit and miss on this one. Whether or not that's a good price, I'd say it ever so slightly over, really, what you should be paying at the moment on a 2011. But every Copart yard is different, and some are just very strange. But anyway, the next one is due in 18 minutes time. Got anything? Oh, let's have a look at this one. It's a breaker. Yeah. Love to know how these accidents happen. It's like that's been driving along and then something's fallen off the rear of it and just completely crushed. I don't think that's overturned. No, it's not overturned. It's a very peculiar place for that roof basically ripped off. But yeah, that's a breaker, so it doesn't really matter. Right. I shall return shortly for the next one. Right, we're 3 minutes away. 830 odd participants now. We should get through these next couple of cars quite quick. Very old Qashqai that's just gone on. The Jazz is always, I find, to be quite popular. I mean, it's a Honda anyway. That's quite a low mileage actually, 32,000 on a Cat N. So it looks like that's about to go as well. Right, one final bid, but I don't think there's going to be that much interest in that one. And then we got a Cat D Mini coming up. Minis, jeez, the amount of people I hear who I knew who had minis and had endless amounts of problems with them. Yeah, the Mark 1s anyway. And then our one's coming up. It's currently got a bid of 400, so still relatively low. I still think that's going to jump up quite quickly, and if you're not looking at the pictures, you just look and think that that's a reasonably put together car. I'm hoping that I can grab a bargain and that people just look at that mileage and it just puts them off. But I still think, mileage wise, on that 1.2 engine, you know, you're probably going to be doing motorway miles, so 40, not a massive amount of use of the clutch, you know, and the gearbox. So that's what I'm hoping for. But yeah. Oh no, so this is a Mini Clubman. Not that really makes a difference. It's still the engine's rubbish. I think it's a Chrysler engine that they put in those. Not sure. Worth $4,000? Not sure that's worth $4,000. But anyway, we are literally seconds away now. So, hand on the mouse. I just think this could go crazy. 525. Still staying relatively low. Oh no. There's obviously a good number of people who are very interested in this car. It seems as soon as one person bids and another one jumps straight in. Let that go. Yeah, 700. Just let that go through a bonus. I think I'll put in a bid, but I bet you it'll be countered quite quickly. So let's do it. Someone's on some sort of proxy bidding, I reckon. Really don't think there's much more value in that. Maybe about 800 odd. So again, that was weird because, like, again, you got people bidding and then it didn't go around for a bonus time, it then just went. So I think someone's got that for just over £1,000. Needs to say new front bumper, rear bumper. I reckon a new tailgate, a new tail light. So, oh, nothing today then. That's a bit disappointing. Oh well. We'll come back for some more later on in the week, probably. Right, we're back at it. Day later. 2 cars today. One came in quite last minute, but I'll go through that now for. Sorry, my voice. Still not really got rid of this cold, but anyway. So this pop was in auction at the beginning of the week, and obviously it didn't go for it is on reserve, and it's obviously not gone for what this person wants it for. Now, there's going to come a point after this one, if it goes back in, it will be the last time he can sell it. Otherwise, he's then got to take the car away because basically Copart give you 3 strikes and you're out. So, it's a category C, so, you know, it's under the old category system, but quite low mileage. It's an 11 plate, and it's just got sort of wear and tear, I think, really all over it. There's nothing really on here to worry about, and then when we go in, there's the odd little couple of scratches and stuff, but for an 11 plate car, it's not too bad. I would say that looks possibly like maybe the airbag light is on. And then you got the triangle light. So the airbag light is either going to be one or two things, which is that he can't clear it, and that potentially is an issue whereby we've got to get something replaced, rather than just have a couple of little fiddles around with the wiring under the seat. But that MOT for this one, it had no advisories, and I think this went for about 650, 675 the other day, but it's currently at 500. And then we got one up at York, again quite a distance, but if you can get a good deal, then it's potentially worth the money. So this is a Cat S 2014 Lounge. It's been rear-ended, and it's in purple, so a bit of a rare car, but then it also makes getting the parts quite difficult as well. So the damage to this, looking at it from this angle, let me see if I can get a close-up, is there doesn't appear to be any damage here. That's just being held on. The bumper's popped out, and it's obviously had a rear impact here, so this probably needs maybe pushing back out a bit. I don't think you're going to need a new tailgate. So it's got 42,000 on the clock. Now, for some reason they've stripped back the trim, which is a bit peculiar. But anyway, so the MOT on this one, make sure I got the right one. No, sorry, that's the right one. So that is due November, but again, there's no advisories. So on a 64, again, York's not been too bad, or it's been quite kind to me on prices, so I'm quite interested in that. So we'll get going, and they'll be going through in about 20 minutes time or so. So yeah, we'll crack on and see what we've got.
Low mileage.
Right, okay, so we are next up for the Purple Lounge. The red pot, not going to bid on that. I think that airbag is a Cat C. Unless it was literally going to be like pure sale at like 500 or something. But that's not going to happen, and that airbag light's on, and that's not an easy fix. So, but we're interested to see what that goes for. These are pretty much going to end up almost together at this rate, I think. Just got this DS3 to go through, which hopefully we'll go through shortly. And then we'll see if this purple one, again, it's on reserve. I think it will be 1600. That's what I reckon. Well, up to 1400 anyway. So roughly, yeah, maybe come to the 16. I think with the Cat S title, it's probably really not worth much, a huge amount more than that. Certainly for me, obviously, with delivery fees. I picked up my blue 2014 Lounge with pretty much similar sort of damage, and I picked that up for something like, before fees, about 1200, and that was roughly around a year ago. So yeah, again, I would say that was overpriced now, but yeah, you're not going to make a massive amount of money out of that one. Maybe 3.5 out the door, but obviously with fees and delivery. So yeah, 2-1 I think that's going for. And then we got the pop coming up. We'll see what that one goes for. I bet you that will go up by a couple of £100, and then we might see it again later on. Because I think whoever's trying to sell it wants more than that. But if it's been a Cat C many years ago, and they's always run with the airbag light on, then that's probably the reason why he's put it into auction. That's what I think's happened. I think it's had a frontal, and hence the Cat C, and that causes the airbag light. In the meantime, the purple is now to 2.3, so that is very overpriced. So there was me saying York was quite cheap. That's not the case. So that's going to go... No, one more bonus time. This is what I mean, is these bonus times just sometimes are there, and then sometimes they just get sold. It's so confusing. But I imagine it's going to get sold now. Yeah. The person selling that will be happy. So we'll just close that down. Alright. Still waiting for this Discovery to sell.
Pure sale. Pure sale.
And then we'll see what this pot goes for. Well, we might be waiting a bit because the bidding's now restarted back up on that Discovery. Some nice cars actually they've got in the Sandy today. 2019 E-Class, Kia Sportage, a couple of Kia Sportages actually. So yeah, quite a valuable set of cars going down here. 2017 520 ID3. So yeah, they're certainly not cheap crap. Right, here we go. Remember, I think this sold for about 650, 675 last time. Oh, he's got a bit more money. But, you know, people aren't smart, they know. There, see, that just went 700 quid, no bonus time, just went £700 straight off. That's what's really weird about these auctions. But he's not going to take 700 quid for it, I'm telling you now. Unless he's panicking that he's going to end up back with that car and he'll just take anything he gets. So that's today's. Nothing again. And I'll be back. I don't know if there's anything tomorrow. Be back in maybe a day or so.
Sold on approval. New bidder. This is a hot lot.
So, how do I explain this? So, I do night shifts every so often, and this auction fell smack bang in the middle of the night, so I was basically asleep. I've set my alarm because in the lead up to this auction, there was no interest. No one was putting any money down, and I thought, could this be potentially a really cheap car? And I thought, you know what, I'm going to disrupt my sleep and I'll wake up and have a look at, see what's going on with this. So that's the reason that we're looking at this car now after I've won it rather than beforehand. So at the moment, or at the time, I was just interested to see what this kind of car would go for and at what money. I wasn't 100% like fully in like, I'm going to 100% go for this. This is desperate. I really want this car. So anyway, let's have a look around the car, and as per those that are a bit older, let's see what you could have won. I'll leave you guess what game show that was. So we have 128,000 mile 11 2011, so still on a 60 plate. Front end damage. Lounge with no V5. Additional information here is the usual. We've got one key and that's it. So looking at this initially, windscreen wipers are set a bit high. Don't understand that because maybe it just requires putting the ignition on and moving the windscreen wipers up, giving it a once over and they're settled down. But I don't understand really why they're stuck in that position. From this angle, that looks like a new wing because it's dented here. And you're looking at a new front bumper. Difficult to tell what's going on with that headlight and the DRL. But we've lost quite a bit of trim as well. But we could probably salvage the number plate and the Fiat badge. Difficult to tell what we've lost down here as well. But on the face of it, from this angle, that's it. Now, if we look from the other angle, so it's an enhanced, so it's an insurance job, but they, for some reason, want to push this car with a few more photos. Again, there's the headlight. There's the DRL with possibly the bulb sitting in it. Again, we might be able to rescue that DRL. But from this angle, that bonnet looks now to be creased pretty much in the centre. I thought initially when I bid on this that potentially that bonnet was going to be alright, but I'm thinking white's a bit one of those funny colours where it just blends in and it's so difficult to tell, but I think that's bent. And also when we look here, that sits, that's not sitting quite right. So yeah. But anyway, from the rear we have absolutely no issues at all. Got some little door stops on there, so that's a nice little touch. And as you can see, unknown, they've put sport side skirts on. There's nothing else on the car to indicate whatsoever any other sport trim, just these side skirts. Wheels look all to be in order, and the rear appears to be all good. From this angle, again, no real problems here that I can see. All panels appear to be good. Again, side skirt there. Although the wing mirrors are a gloss black rather than a white cap, which is a bit strange. But look inside, you've got your typical lounge seats, which will require a clean. And we have nothing really exciting. We've got a remote key, as you can see, hanging from the top here. That steering wheel could just be dirt. I'm hoping it's just dirt. And then we've got like phone holder, the magnetic phone holder. But at the moment, nothing else to indicate there's a pack in here. So yeah, won't bore you with the rear. On the front, we've got, obviously the lugs have gone on the headlight. That headlight looks okay. The slam panel does look bent here. This side, the slam panel seems to be okay. Can't really tell on the headlight, but obviously the lugs have gone. Can't see regards cam belt, but if you're clocking up 128,000 miles, so you're clearly using this car on a day-by-day basis, you should be changing that cam belt quite a bit. But other than that, Nothing else really going to be able to see from the front here. A small amount of petrol. It idles under 1,000, so that's good. And there's no lights illuminated around here apart from the door and the handbrake. But it's clearly been jump started because it's reset everything as well. So it's flat. Another view here. Again, I think that bonnet's gone. For some reason they've taken a photo of this quarter panel, but to me that's just dirt where he's just run their finger through, so we don't have to worry about that. Space saver, hopefully locking wheel nut is in there. The rear end, so it appears to be predominantly cleared out, and then obviously for some reason they love this rear shot of the roof, but hopefully there's no damage to the glass roof, and that's it. So that's the car. Paid 700 in total with fees, 980. So we're under £1,000 out the door. MOT. So the current MOT, which is due to expire in a month's time. So it's done 7,000 miles since the last one. So it's saying there's a front tyre that's worn. So we need to check on that. Near side front. So the front strut pins or bushes are worn. These two here. The McPherson struts. Now, when you go through the MOT, it's not, it's also worth looking at the past as well. So this is where it gets. I'm a bit confused here, because if you look, I'm not confused actually. I don't know why I said that. Well, it's been sat for a year because in 2020 it's done 121,203, and in 2021, a year later, it's done 121,219. So it's been sat potentially for a year and then done 17 miles. The tyre has come back, or has shown here, and then a year later shown again. The struts have appeared, having done 17 or 16 miles. But then here on 2019 at 118,000 miles, we had exhaust systems corroded with a slight blow-in. That's not appeared here over the last 2 years. And then an oil leak from the sump, again not appearing here. So not really sure what's going on there. Because in April, end of April, it did fail. So it had the suspension arms replaced, clearly. The whole front suspension was replaced. And then, a couple of years later, it's back again, showing that it's worn. So that's a bit peculiar. And then you see we've got the exhaust, and that's the oil. Advisories, I mean, look at this. That one, proper. There's, things are going on. This is interesting. Offside rear outer, sill accident damage. I wonder if the sill's damaged and they've used these to cover the sill. I wonder if that's the case. But anyway, re-exhaust, tyres, coil spring. There's a lot of stuff here, but it just all disappears on other MOTs. So don't really know what's going on there. Can only hope that someone spent quite a bit of money to get this all sorted. But you can see in 2018, dangerous. Never seen that before in an MOT. Near side rear upper shock absorbers. So basically these shockers have completely gone, it would seem, and they're dangerous. And then the door handle again. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video and this car. Obviously at some point on this channel we will see this car turning up and we will go through it and see what has happened. It's coming from Wolverhampton, 137 miles to me, and I've managed to get delivery for 170, which I think is pretty good in this day and age. Shipley couldn't get anywhere near that figure, and I was using a guy that I've used before, so doesn't have to pay any fees, so I think that's why he can keep it down. So yeah, let me know what you think. What do you think is going to happen with this? What do you reckon a retail cost of this would be? Do you agree with me that we're talking of new front bumper, new bonnet, new near side wing, some trim pieces, a new slam panel, and possibly a new tyre? But let me know what else you think is probably going to be needed. Oh yeah, and obviously potential lugs, maybe headlight. But yeah, let me know. Until next time, thank you for watching these Copart videos, and I will see you all again very, very soon.